Hello, this is Pastor James Hargrave with Greatest Love Ministries. Welcome back. Today is the 9th of Av. I'm kind of moving on from the 9th of Av. I don't think anything's going to happen, although we don't know yet. There's still several hours left during the 9th of Av. We won't really know for sure if anything happens on the 27th or the 9th of Av until sunset in Washington, D.C. Sunset in Washington, D.C., which is 8:24 p.m. Eastern Time on the 27th. But one thing I was thinking about today, and we'll get to that too, is it looks like the Freemasons are pointing to, or maybe foreshadowing, the year 5783. We're in year 5783. That year is over September 16th, 2023. So there is a potential that this attack could happen before September 16th, 2023. Also, Skull and Bones could be saying 2023. So it could be before January. In any case, scripturally, it looks like, according to Scripture, Magog, according to Daniel chapter 7, is formed 15 months before Jesus comes back. So the way you could figure that in days is roughly 450 days. A prophetic year, 360 days. A prophetic month, 30 days. It's basically a lunation is a prophetic month. It's one lunation, 1 month. So here we're going to look at Revelation. Well, I'm going to come back to this Gog passage. Revelation 13 talks about Russia, the bear, talks about NATO, the lion, and talks about Persia, Iran. It seems to all be going on. And it has power to exercise its authority and blasphemies for 42 months. And, the Lord includes NATO and the West in this. It's a one beast. These are different parts of the beast. In Daniel, they were separate countries. But Daniel chapter 7 talks about these beasts also. But here in Revelation, they're working together. I think this is the New World Order. I do think it's a conspiracy for the Great Reset and the New World Order, that they're working together. And for 42 months. But when did this 42 months begin? I think it began February 21st, 2022, when Putin made his announcement that he was going to recognize some provinces in eastern Ukraine. And that date is interesting because that is exactly in the middle point of the 70th year. The 70th year, we'll show you here, was up September 10th, 2018. So that's the 70th year of Israel, judged by, on the Hebrew calendar, that's Tishri. That's their new year. So that's the end of the 70th year. And then from that point, if you go out 3.5 years, you get February 21st, 2022, or the start of the 3.5 years, the last 42 months, which brings us up to August 3rd, or the 9th of Av. Interestingly enough, the 9th of Av, 2025. Now we can see here on a heap cow, we'll go to that, September 10th, 2018 is the first of Tishri, or the Jewish New Year. Then we can also see here that if you go out 1,260 days, well, I'm going to show you this time. This is the one from September 10th. You go out 1,260 days here. You get February 21st, 2022. Then if you go out a full another 3.5 years, so we'll change this to 2520. Well, it should August 3rd. I'm off a day here in this calculation, but it's August 3rd it's the 9th of Av. Because really it would be moved back to the 3rd, because you see here it's starting on the 10th. Well, the 1st of Tishri actually started on sunset on the 9th, so it actually started on the 9th, so that would move it back a day. But anyway, also, now let's look at Ezekiel 39. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto Gog, I do believe that's Obama, a place there of graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hammon Gog. So according to this, Obama dies in Israel. And it got me to thinking, because this, according to, let me just look this up here. Daniel 7. And we're going to go to the King James, because it's clearer in the King James, I believe. They talk about these beasts. You really should be reading these parts of Scripture to give you an idea of what's going on in current times. But as concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. Season, 3 months roughly. A time is 1 year, so this is 15 months. So if we know the end of the 7-year period that started in 2018, and if that's August 3rd, 2025, the 9th of Av, if you go 15 months before that, or roughly 450 days, you fall very, very close to the anniversary of Independence Day for Israel. And I find that potentially very interesting, because Gog in Ezekiel 39 here is in Israel. He's killed in Israel. And I was wondering, is the New World Order going to unite these religions that are centered, the 3 main world religions, together in Jerusalem? Is Jerusalem going to be some sort of capital of the New World Order? Bring in Islam together with Judaism and Christianity. Is that going to be united in Jerusalem? Is that why God is there? Is he ruling on that throne? Now, some people think the Antichrist will sit in the temple, so there has to be a 3rd temple. Scripture doesn't say that. There's lots of ways to interpret that. I don't think there has to be a 3rd temple. He could be in any shrine if they wanted to do that. Pope Francis is the one in the temple proclaiming himself to be God. And he's going to give his support and the weight of his office to Obama. He's going to support Obama. Whether Obama sits in a temple or not, I really doubt that, because it could be, that's what's going to happen, but he's a secular leader. I think he's going to have secular power over these religions and declare what can be taught and cannot be taught. He's going to consider himself over these religions. So I don't see him as being really considered some sort of religious figure, other than Pope Francis will give his support to the secular leader of Obama to navigate the world through this crisis, which they set up and caused. Revelation, I think 17 tells us that. Or Revelation 13, rather. So anyway, so this is what I'm saying. So this could be May 14, 2024. I keep saying summer. So That's about a little over 9 months away. So I'm going to be following this. The closer we get to May 14th, 2024, something should happen. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to have to reevaluate my thinking. But as of now, I think this is what's going to happen. This New World Order Magog is going to be formed around Jerusalem, around Obama, and that's going to be the resolution to the crisis that they could get started any day now. I think it, according to their coding, it should be before September 16th. It's definitely before January. And it definitely would have to be in time before May 14th, 2024 for this, because that's when it's official. And I think it might be what they're going to do is on the anniversary of Israel have a that's the date they're going to say it's official, Magog. They're not going to call it that. But the Consortium of Nations is going to be formed. The New World Order is going to be formed officially May 14th, 2024. With its capital in Israel. That's a possibility. And I just wanted to throw that out there, see what you think about it. I'm very, very sure we're in the last 7 years. I'm pretty sure about the end date, August 3rd, when Jesus comes back or raptures those waiting for him. But this crisis needs to get started here pretty quick. We got a little over 9 months for this to run its course. Now, the scriptures say this comes with speed and finality. It comes with speed, it comes quickly, and it comes thoroughly. So it is possible this could happen in that short of time. But the further we get into this, the more it makes me doubt that I'm right. I definitely could be wrong, but we'll just have to wait and see. We're waiting for a crisis. The crisis has been promised to us. It's predicted in Scripture. Now, Daniel 9 still could be fulfilled. I said it was a possible reading of Daniel 9. But what I just showed you with February 21st, from this date, the New Year Day, September 10th, 2018, if that's the start of the 7 years, which I think it is. And then in the middle of the year was February 21st, 2022. That's exactly to the day, 42 months into it, 42 months left to go. So that definitely could be a fulfillment of what Daniel 9 is talking about in the middle of the 7. That's a very clear understanding of what that passage means. And then the sacrifice and offering could just be all the sanctions the West put on Russia and China, which definitely is driving countries away from the dollar as the world's reserve currency. Regardless of what the propaganda is telling you, this is an issue. People no longer trust the U.S. They don't trust our currency. Good grief, the United States seized Russia's gold. This is criminal. The United States are thieves, and the whole world knows it. Just because American news sources don't tell you about it doesn't mean it's not true. They're liars. So that definitely could be what Scripture means about the end of sacrifice and offering. It definitely was the beginning of the end and the start of World War III. Could be what it's talking about right there. Even if a bomb went off here today or soon in September or in the next few months, it wouldn't really be the start of the war, the start of the crisis that already started in the middle of the 7. So that is a very clear fulfillment. I was just looking at another possible fulfillment. That would be 666 for 666 today. Magog, Obama will be buried in Israel. It looks like that might be where their capital is going to be. Israel probably won't submit to this. I don't know if they will or not, but definitely Jesus comes back to deal with the situation, deal with Obama, and deal with God. And with that, I'll end. The middle of the 7 could have been February 21st, 2022.